everybody, it's Lash from High Voltage. If you've never been to this channel before and you're interested in hearing some stories, some of them have happened to me and some of them have happened to people that I know. Really, really strange stories. So if you're interested in friends, family, and foes, behavioral analysis, and my breakdown of what my opinion is in reference to the downfall of society, the nuclear family, and I'll be telling you some real stories about real people, not celebrities. So if you like to welcome and respect, aspects of people's societies, this could be the channel for you. Alright, so let's just start with the fact that I am not in my regular studio, but gird your loins for this story. Now, in a way, instead of watching me, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, because I'm going to close my eyes and tell you this story. I have to close my eyes. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say who this happened to. Okay. In 2007, a young woman, probably 38 years old, moved from one province to another and moved in with an estranged family member. In the midst of this, moving from another province to another province, the reason this woman left the province in which she built a life was because there were layoffs and the husband wanted to own a condo and he had never owned a condo before, so this woman co-signed her life savings because her husband for 5 years didn't stop. This woman lost everything. So she landed back in a different province, which the way she explained it to me was like being dropped off on another planet in the Twilight Zone. And I can't disagree with that. So then, I could turn this into a parody, like a Saturday Night Live thing, because it's so bad. Wait. Alright, I can finish telling the story now. Alright, so then, I think it was in 2007, and this person is really good at remembering dates. It was 2007, and it was November the 9th. And she phoned her husband and said, "You have to come back." Now, why did the husband have to come back? They were separated. They didn't have children, but they had a cat. And this cat, they loved, and they had this cat for 8 years. So her and her husband didn't have any arguments about where the cat should be. So when the woman moved to Ontario, her one side of the family said, and both sides of the family said, don't take the cat to live, you know, with that family member because there are dogs there. But the girl didn't listen, and she was really stubborn to a fault, and just really truly believed that everything would be fine. Like, absolutely believed that. Well, the husband booked a ticket to come to Vancouver, all the way to another province, to come get the cat. Well, on November the 10th, 7 days before his arrival, the cat went missing. So, to make a really long story short, a family member said they missed going down a certain road to get into town, which I didn't really think of anything at the time, and said, like, I think there's a cat there, it might be your cat. And this girl was, you know, spent $500 in 2007, $500 on newspaper ads, flyers, you know, different era. 2007, 8, 9, 10, what? Oh my God. 18 years ago? Why is it that these types of stories, you just turn around and they're right there? But when my Sophie passed, I couldn't tell you what happened in the month of February. I could only tell you because of the video footage that I've taken. So what happened to the cat? Well, the girl found the cat on the road, and I'm not going to describe what she described because it was terrible. And the minute that her ex-husband came to the door, they looked at each other, they both knew. They took the cat to the SPCA, had the ashes done, and then the girl went back out to Vancouver sometime in 2008, and then came back to spread the cat's ashes where she came from. That's a true story. So basically, this family member knew the whole time where the cat was, left the cat in one of the freezers, because the girl told me that the family member said, will you stop looking for the cat? And the girl said, I'm not going to stop looking for the cat until, you know, the girl knows what happens. And there you have it. That's something out of a Stephen King novel. And it's a true story. How do you like them apples? It's not funny. I'm sure SNL could do something funny, and I could do something funny, but it's not funny. Like, really, I don't know how to make a parody out of that. Some people think I'm funny, some people think this and that, but so that's one story. The other thing I was talking about on my live today was the Meghan Markle trivia. Charlene Care Give Out. Oh gosh. T-Bird and Masouf and Lamb and So. Don't forget about that, because that is where you can win the $100. Actually, I'm going to post this on Facebook as well, so Lamon knows that if he does some studying about Meghan Markle, he can win $100. And the reason I did that, I told you this on the live, refer to my last live. I'm not going through everything again. And what I wanted to say was, I agree, like, I do not believe in victims or survivors. You know, to me, that is somebody who survived the Holocaust or is surviving in the Middle East, what's going on in there. I'll never truly understand the history of that. It just never will. So I was also wanting to talk about decisions and how decisions really establish who you are as a person and your relationship with money, how that really establishes like who you are. And I was just thinking of the decision that doctor made in my situation, how he made that decision to not say anything. Now imagine you being a doctor, right? This light is horrible, and you're trained for that. This is why I was wearing wigs, because I'm letting my hair grow really long, and I've got a cowlick, and I want my hair to grow long, and my bangs are like so, and I want a really nice cut, right? And I thought the wigs were fun. I want to try to write some scripts and do some skits. You know, everybody loves Gilda Radner. I can imitate her really well. I love her. But, okay, so decision making. That was my narcissistic, selfish ADHD thinking about me coming into my head subconsciously. I apologize. Decision making is so important. When I think about that doctor, as I said, could you imagine sitting there with a broken leg and he broke your knee, but he didn't say anything? Had he had said something, I wouldn't be suffering the way I have been. And suffering in silence and isolation is so harmful for your personality, your spiritual growth. I believe I have arrested development from those 7 years because I had to take a lot of medication to stop the pain. And now I use CBM oil, CBD oil, as opposed to using, thank gosh, the doctors never put me on Oxycontin or fentanyl, but, you know, and then that created another cycle of issues. And it was funny because, first of all, he doesn't say a word. Here, I'm going to put the phone down here. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, so first of all, he doesn't say a word, right? Not one single word. He doesn't say one word to me. And I'm sitting in a wheelchair with my leg out like this, right? I've got my, you know, hole here and over here. And yeah, I dance. I do, and I work out. And like Trevor said on the live today, that's why I do it, because I can't even believe that I'm able to do that based on what I went through, because I didn't have physio. I couldn't work for 5 years. I've shared all of this. And what I'm trying to say about decisions, psychopaths, friends, family, foe, you really find out who loves you when you go through situations like this. And that decision he made, a man and a woman should never forget their debts. And I'm not just talking about financial debts, your ethics and your morals. So think about that doctor. Now, I made and uploaded a little short, and I did put his picture and name up, and I know a family member will say that's a very bad idea, but I am following my intuition from now on. However, the family member that is the most important role model in my life, I'm going to tell you something. You can't pick your family, and you can pick your friends, and you can't pick who your uncles, aunts, or cousins marry. But I have a relative who's a non-blood relative who has been emotionally, spiritually, financially so unbelievably giving and without judgment. I almost think he's a saint. And when I send him this video, he won't like it. I think he's the closest thing to a saint. And another family member, and this is on one side of the family, and then there's another side of the family, and I'm twirling my fingers. What does that mean? I'm protecting myself right now. When I was talking about the other family member, my hands were like this, which means I felt in control, I felt calm. And then when I started to do this like a little kid. Do I need to say anything else? I don't. So think about the decision that that doctor made, and you tell me. I sat in a wheelchair for a year because he didn't say anything. Think about that. And I'm not boo-hooing here. I'm dancing on my toes in ballet. And what I wanted to say about those two people that were living with us that were homeless, there are going to be such hard times right now. And we had our landlady and landlord play a really dirty trick on us. And because of their decision to lie and my decision not to sue them, what does that say about their characters? But what does it say about my character not to sue them? Is that a good thing or stupid? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go back and watch the other videos, but tell me about your decision making. Look, I started this channel because of the medical malpractice, the change.org, blah, 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 blah. I'm starting a non-donation charity. By hitting subscribe, you don't have to pay anything, and Trevor and I are coming up with some content, and I realize now what my theme has been the entirety of the time. I started this channel because I felt like when I needed help and when I was alone, there was nobody. Like, nobody. Not even my mother at certain times, okay? We've all felt that way, I thought. And it wasn't because I did anything. You know, when people lose family members or things happen, relatives, families, friends need to go on to their own space. That's natural. And then we come together again. My mother is my best friend and a huge role model in my life. She's a very nice person. And she's very funny. She's really funny. But yeah, decision making. Be so careful about decision making. I co-signed for Russell Holmes and for Chris Cambon, and it didn't